Hello everybody, welcome to the Comic Guy Movie Show. My name is Deshaun, and today I want to talk about that big breaking news or report that came out not that long ago, maybe a few days ago now, of the Russo Brothers returning to the MCU to direct both Avengers movies. Now, the Russo Brothers are kind of maybe the best directors Marvel's ever had. It's Coogler, James Gunn, and the Russo Brothers, really. It's those three. Don't get me wrong, I like Peyton Reed. Is it Peyton? I always forget his name. The director of the Ant-Man movies. I like him because I liked what he did with the first Ant-Man. I like what he did with the second Ant-Man. Ant-Man 3 was a little much for him, but I like Peyton Reed. But I did like what he did with the first two Ant-Mans. Taika did a great job with Thor Ragnarok. I'm trying to think of other repeated directors who came back. There's not a lot. So, but the Russo Brothers are undefeated, really. I would probably say Coogler is too. I mean, two $800 million plus movies, both 80% Rotten Tomatoes. One of the highest rated movies of all time in Black Panther. So it's Coogler, it's Gunn, Coogler, and the Russo Brothers. They're the three best directors the MCU has ever had. But in particular with the Russo Brothers, they are the heavy hitters of the MCU. They are the seat changers of the MCU. People don't understand. Winter Soldier and Civil War changed the MCU. Winter Soldier got rid of S.H.I.E.L.D. Civil War created a rift that led to Infinity War happening in the first place. Infinity War, the snap. Endgame, the return, these guys are synonymous with heavy-hitting Marvel stories. They do the big shit, and they do it well. They handle large ensemble and large casts better than almost anyone in the superhero game. I'm not even sure, that's the thing. We will find out what James Gunn can do. Because as far as we know, the only directors to ever handle a movie of such scale as Avengers Endgame and Infinity War is the Russo Brothers. So Marvel wanting to do something even bigger than those films is, and right now the MCU is in this weird spot where, it's not as unanimously agreed upon that Marvel's doing well. In the past, Marvel had so much rope with the audience. They still have rope with me, but they don't have as much rope with as many people as they used to. They've had misses. They've had more misses than they usually have. They haven't had more misses than hits, but they've had more misses than they usually would. It's like Marvel used to be 9 for 10 from 3-point range. Now they're 7 for 10. And it's that's a hell of a percentage, but it ain't what you used to do. You ain't at your best anymore. Marvel ain't where they used to be. That doesn't mean that they're not still producing great stuff. It doesn't mean they're still not the most profitable franchise in the Hollywood today. But it's not what it used to be. People don't unanimously agree. They've had to reshuffle so much between having different CEOs and COVID and the TV and being forced to make so much content for Disney Plus. And there's been so much shit that's happened to Marvel that some of it is their own fault, Kevin Feige's fault for his approach to doing television and different things. And some of it is shit that it was outside of them. There's just the pandemic and Bob Chapek, there's just no way you can account for shit like that happening. But I digress. In this time of turmoil, in this time of unease, I believe it makes perfect sense for Marvel to bring the Russo Brothers back to guide the ship of these Avengers movies, because these Avengers movies have to hit, and bring them back, bring Marcus and McFeely back, the writer crew back, and just get this right, because this is going to be very important. Avengers 5, which was the Kang Dynasty, now it's being reported it won't be the Kang Dynasty. Actually, reports on Avengers 5 are pretty much saying this movie is going to be more or less kind of like the first Avengers movie. This movie is going to be lower. It's going to be not lower, but it's going to be more focused on the assembling of the new team. Whereas it seems like Kang Dynasty, at least from now what I'm hearing, was going to be more or less like another Infinity War. It's going to be like Infinity War, basically. to Endgame. It was going to be like another Infinity War, except with all these new characters. And all these new characters, they were going to assemble as the Avengers and just be, at it. Now it seems like what they're doing is they're going to make this fifth Avengers movie like the first Avengers movie, all about the assembling of this new Avengers team and them taking down some guy, proving that they can be a group, they can work well together, and creating those new dynamics and getting the audience used to this new Avenger squad. And then in Secret Wars, they're probably gonna make Secret Wars a two-parter, and that's gonna be like Infinity War and Endgame. But they're going to have this first movie be the assembling of the new Avengers team. And having them come in to do that makes perfect sense to me. Also, a lot of these characters who will be on this new Avengers team are characters that the Russo brothers introduced. Sam Wilson being one of them as Captain America. There's a couple and they've handled a lot of these characters. They've handled the Captain Marvels, which I assume she'll probably be back on this Avengers team now that she's on Earth. They've handled Star-Lord, who might also be on this Avenger team because he's on Earth. Now there are characters they haven't handled, but there's a lot of characters in this current MCU that they have handled. They are proven commodity. They are proven that they can handle it. Now, the thing about the Russo brothers are, they have not made anything worth shit outside of the MCU. Since the time they left it, you know what they're like? They're like Chris Hemsworth. Like, for a good chunk, now Chris Hemsworth have done some cool things as of late, but for a good chunk of time, Chris Hemsworth tried to kind of go off and make other movies, and they sucked. So then, because Chris Hemsworth is funny. He kind of was like, I don't know if I want to say near the end of the Avengers, he was all like, yeah, I don't know, I might be getting tired of this. I kind of want to go away from this. Maybe I don't want to do this anymore. Then he goes out and do a couple movies that bomb, a couple movies that don't do well, and all of a sudden, you hear from Chris Hemsworth again, he's like, Thor, man, I love Thor. He's so important to me. We're working on the new Thor. I'm like, see, that's very similar to how I feel about the Russo brothers. Because we heard reports months ago maybe a month ago, that the Russo brothers came in to Marvel to talk about directing the Avengers movies, and they got turned down. Now, Kevin Feige was asked about this yesterday. I think it was yesterday he was asked about this, and he pretty much said, that the director we had pinned in to direct the Avengers movie, particularly Avengers 5, is a different guy there's a different person than we originally had. Because the rumor is they wanted the guy directing Deadpool and Wolverine to direct that movie, Avengers 5, but he wants to focus on his Star Wars movie. Also, Daniel Cranston, the director of Shang-Chi, also was going to direct it, but he wants to focus on Shang-Chi too. So it is interesting that it does seem like, and no one's really talking about this because everyone's kind of like the downfall of Marvel, like the Russos will save the MCU. No one's talking about the fact that the Russo brothers were not their first choice to direct this film, weren't their first choice to come in. All reports, there were at least 2 named directors they wanted before they accepted the Russo brothers to come in. But it is what it is. It's going to be great PR. They're safe hands. They know what they're doing. They know how to handle dynamics. They know how to handle assemblies. They know how to give the fans the moments they want to have. And they're going to deliver a classic MCU story. Now, there are already people bitching. I saw this shit. It made me laugh my ass off. I will say this again. I said it before in a bunch of videos. People ask for new. People ask for creative. People ask for them to push the boundaries, to go out there, to do weird shit. Marvel does that. You guys didn't respond well to it. So now Marvel is like, no, we're going to go back to our old ways. We're going to go back to making safe, fun movies with great narratives, great acting, great drama, but ultimately safe. We're going to go back to doing those type of movies with our MCU films, because clearly when we go stretching out, when we touch things, people get real fucking snippy about that. People get real angry about that. People don't go out to watch it. So we're going to pull back on the creative shit, and we're going to just do this. We're going to bring the Russo brothers back. They're going to direct this shit like Endgame, and they're going to direct this shit like Civil War or Endgame or Infinity War, and people are going to dig it. MCU fans are going to dig it. directors, like, the critics are gonna dig it too, because there won't be anything too crazy or outlandish for them to nail down to give this a bad rating. Because that's why the MCU went so long with all their films being fresh on Rotten Tomatoes. It's because there was never anything egregiously bad in an MCU movie. Like, egregiously bad? Like, this shit's rotten. I can't watch this shit. Bad. You might have been bored with The Dark World. You might have thought Iron Man 2 was nowhere near as good as Iron Man 1, but you weren't like, God, this is awful. And like, that's because that was the Marvel formula. The Marvel formula was designed to make a film that no matter who you are, you're like, well, even if you didn't like it, you're like, well, it was okay. And okay is a good score. And that's why all Marvel movies were fresh for so long, because they were doing that. But in phases 4 and 5, Feige was like, let's give the people what they want. Let's go out there. Let's do weird shit with Eternals. Let's do weird shit. Oh man, this weird shit. And we're gonna do WandaVision with her fucking, like, all this TV sitcom shit. Oh, we're gonna do crazy Loki with the TV. Like, they're out there like, we're gonna do some weird shit. We got Sam Raimi basically doing all this shit, and like, they went out there and pushed it, and it didn't work out. So now they're gonna pull it back. And people are bitching about that, but you're getting what you asked for. You wanted them to pull it back, they're doing it. Anyways, I'm excited for this. I think they're good choices. We'll probably hear about that next week, because Comic-Con is next week, so I'm very excited about that. I'm probably going to make a video talking about what they might announce at Comic-Con, but until then, I'm excited about the Russo Brothers. What do you think about the Russo Brothers coming back to Marvel to direct them next to Avengers movies? Comment below and let me know. And don't remember to like and subscribe. Thank you guys again. See you on the next one.